Let's do this. Sorry we're late.
Podcast. Two guys talking without wearing pants. Pantless. Podcast. You can take our ideas.
Welcome back to the Pantless Podcast. Here's your host, Austin Travis. Take it away, guys. We're
What's going
finally
on?
here.
The people don't know the struggles.
I have not been happy.
They don't get it.
I'm gonna go on a rant here at the beginning. I am very upset with my internet provider. I'm probably going to be screaming at them next week, or if I get a hold of them tomorrow on a Saturday, the conversation won't end well.
They are, somebody's disconnecting your internet tomorrow.
They better not, because they're getting my money. But I guess like a week and a half ago, they came out to the house randomly and just took the whole box off the side of my house and replaced it because they claimed it was bad. And now my internet's just not great. So I don't know what they did out there. They didn't call me and notify me of anything. They just did it.
And they did it wrong.
And they did something. I don't know. I don't know if they were at the wrong house and replaced the wrong one. I don't know. No, I just don't know. And now internet will, every 2 to 3 minutes, it'll just shut off for about 10 seconds and come back on.
But we'll see it. Okay.
Yeah, I've got a yellow light right now, but let's move it on.
Moving on.
This is a great live stream. There's so much to talk about tonight.
So much. What are we talking about?
So much. Let's talk about some food.
Some food. Let me think. Let me think if I've had anything from. I've had some sloppy joes. Yum.
I do love me some sloppy Joe.
But I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head right now. So you jump into what you've been eating.
The wife made some amazing chicken and noodle. It's just chicken and noodle last night for dinner. Friggin' amazing. What else?
Yeah.
I made something else this week. God, what was it? What else did I make this week? I don't remember. Must not have been memorable.
Right? We're just sloppy joes and chicken noodles, I guess. Surely there's something better out there in the world. But it didn't leave an impression. So that's fine.
Yeah, that's not even what I want. Alright, let's get off that, because before all this fails, because I know it might fail,
Okay.
we got to talk about the big news that dropped, that I heard about this morning. Or did I hear about it? Yes. Some late last night, and then I confirmed it this morning.
Okay.
Like, big news. Big news. We haven't been
Really?
canceled. No, we haven't been canceled. We're not that far. Pokemon Home Support hits Scarlet and Violet May 25th.
Okay, good. All right. Well, that's getting close. Then I can
Thursday.
move my mons.
That's like Thursday, I think. Friday?
And then start sending my my postcards without fear. Is Rock
Drew?
Chestnut back?
He came back today. He's back right now.
Okay, so I'm gonna need to figure out how to beat him and jump in and beat him.
Iron Treads and one of the others is this coming weekend or this next week.
Ooh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
which I've heard is really just not all that. It's like, oh, okay, that's happening. Was there any other big news from this week? WNBA started tonight.
Oh yeah.
I forgot to actually check to see how everything's going with that.
It just started. I'm going up against the guy with 2 first-round picks. So
She
We'll
shouldn't have
see
cut it.
how
She shouldn't have cut
we'll
her.
see how that goes. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I said, she just shouldn't have. She shouldn't have cut that player. She should have been paying attention.
Yeah, I mean that's how things go.
Yeah. Well, I had a feeling there was something else I was going to talk about in the things were happening segment, breaking news segment. I want to say the Pokemon news was the only thing. Hey, you need to give me. You need to. Have you transferred any of the roaming Gimmigles yet?
Transferred them.
Or do you have.
I have roaming gimmicks to give.
Okay. Rumor has it that day one of the home support. Oh, that's the other thing. There's more home news.
Okay.
When home hits, it's rumored that day one the Roman Gimmiggle will be able to be transferred to to Scarlet Violet.
Gotcha.
So when you register Scarlet or Violet with home
Keep talking.
The first time, you will get you need to know this. All right, this is important stuff.
All right, I'm here.
I couldn't say this with you not listening.
Oh, I thought you were doing it for the fans.
No, this is you stuff.
Oh, me
They
stuff.
can
Okay.
know this too, but the first time you register Scarlet Violet on the Switch with home, you then will need to open up home on your phone app, and you will get 3 free gifts. You'll get the 3 starters, Fuecoco, the other 2, Quaxley and Sprigatito, with their hidden abilities. That's free gifts.
Ooh.
Just for using home for the first time in Scarlet Violet.
Nice.
So make sure you do that early and get those.
Yeah.
They did show a pie chart of all the what can be moved to where not different Pokemon, but what games can go back and forth and jiving, because it still showed that Pokebank, Go, and one other can only go in, but it's showing they're showing that BDSP, Arceus, Sword Shield, and Scarlet Violet can go back and forth.
Right.
So we should essentially you should be able to transfer something from Violet to BDSP or the other way around.
Right. Yeah.
Or I'm hoping, crossing the fingers, that Cleaver and Ursaluna can come to Scarlet Violet.
Yeah, you think that'll happen?
I want it to happen. Don't you threaten me with a good time on that one.
I wonder if they could, because it would make more sense from Scarlet, because that deals with Pokemon from the past, which are what Cleaver and Ursaluna are. It would make less sense for Violet, but
if it's one,
it doesn't have to make sense.
But since Scyther and Teddy Ursa, the first evolutions of both of those are in Scarlet Violet, it makes sense to let you wouldn't. I don't think you'd be able to evolve them. I don't think you'd be able to evolve a what's the second evolution of Teddy Ursa? Ursaring.
Ursaring.
You wouldn't be able to evolve an Ursaring into its third evolution, because the item to evolve it doesn't exist in Scarlet Violet, plus the whole mechanic of the moon.
Right.
That wouldn't work in Scarlet Violet. Same with Cleaver. You wouldn't be able to get that rock to get it to evolve.
It'd be cool if they had the game synced up with the actual full moon. So it's like, this is May 23rd, so that's a full moon.
That would suck, and it would be easier.
It'd be cool. That's how they do it. That's how Pokemon Go is. In order to evolve Ursaring, you can only do it when it's an actual full moon outside.
Really?
Yeah.
So what, like a couple times a year?
Once a month. You have to have the candies, and then
the moon's not real. Yeah.
Breaking news! You heard it here.
I would just have I'd just have a bunch of them ready to go. Because what I didn't like in Arceus is you couldn't see the moon. They didn't have
You weren't looking hard enough.
They didn't have a moon mechanic in the sky. It was all hidden moons, so you just had to guess.
No.
I
think you. I think. I wasn't guessing. I was looking at the moon. I was in the ice mountain, and I would look up, and if it wasn't full, I'd go sleep, and then I'd wake up at night the next night, look up, and would. Oh my gosh, that would suck.
Because I never saw a moon.
That's funny.
So, bunch of Pokemon's news. How you liking that lame Zelda game?
Oh gosh, stop it. I am thoroughly enjoying the little bit that I play. I haven't really got to sit for a very long time and play it. It's been little bitty pieces here and there. I've just been really busy, but what I have played, I'm really enjoying.
I will tell you, I haven't played it in the last 2 or 3 days. I have not. I think I haven't progressed story in at least the last week.
Have you? Because I know you were like way farther than I was at one point.
Now you're further than I am. So I'm still.
Have you talked to Impa?
Impa.
Which direction did you go? Did you go like the direction they suggested?
Haven't. I'm still at Lookout Point.
Okay.
Look, I'm still there. I kind of did a bunch of stuff out and around, and I went and got barbarian armor. Did you run into the lady that's roaming through the roads there around Hyrule Castle that gives you the X's on the map for the different armors of the different tribe? There was that bandit in the first game that was known for fashionable armor.
Interesting.
And he's now a myth and like kind of a legend. And he's hidden armors around the map.
Oh.
And she gives you, if you talk to her, she's wearing like a mushroom hat. And she's just walking around.
She's around Lookout Point though?
I ran into her over to the east of Hyrule Village. You know where the castle's up and there's that village out in front of it that's all destroyed?
Yeah.
Kind of the east of that, where that rock golem will appear.
Okay.
That I killed. Kind of around it.
I haven't run into that one yet.
God, that one sucked. I hate those things.
And I did see that thing that I saw in the distance. That Lionel or whatever. They are back in this game.
Oh no, Lionels are back. I know. I've heard people talking about them.
And I dove into the Coliseum. It was one of the first things I did.
Coliseum.
And I guess you didn't really play a whole lot of Breath of the Wild, did you?
I played a lot early, and I never beat the game.
Gotcha. There's a Coliseum, and it's back. But there is I have to look it up to confirm, but there is a monster there that is a major callback. And
was the Coliseum in Breath of the Wild a DLC thing? That doesn't sound like something that was in the original game.
it was there. It was there.
I guess I just never messed. I never.
It wasn't. It wasn't anything. It was just. It wasn't a. It was just, that one had an ice Lionel in it or something, or an electric one. It's not. It's a Coliseum. It's not a function. You don't.
Was that? Yeah, the Coliseum that just had a Lionel that just kind of roamed the middle of it.
Yeah.
And you could go in there and you could fight him, and he sucked.
Yeah.
Oh no, I know that.
Now there's an even worse monster, and it's awesome.
So
it's that three-headed dragon from the first Zelda, and it shoots.
The original Zelda.
Yeah, and it shoots lightning bolts at you.
I've heard that.
And I ran away. I wasn't even going to try it.
I heard the overworld is almost 1-for-1 from Breath of the Wild. Like they didn't change hardly anything.
Right.
But I also understand that opening clip literally is like a continuation of what like the ending of the first game. Like there's not been any time, hardly no time has passed from when you beat Breath of the Wild till this game starts.
Interesting.
Or it may be like a day or two or a week or two. It's not like 30 years have passed.
Right.
From what I understand.
Yeah. Because there's got to be some time. Obviously, they don't look like they've aged. But
well, they're both over
Pura is Pura is older.
Well, what didn't she?
She's an adult.
But didn't she use a science to make her a child in the first game? Isn't she like really old anyway? Isn't she like
something like that? Something weird happened, yeah.
And she used science to make her a child, and what stopped her from using science to make her look old again? Older.
Right. Maybe.
You can't use her as a reference point.
Yeah. And they built that underground shelter. You know that's gotta take a little bit of time. If I had to guess, I would guess at least a year.
How long is from what happens when you wake up in the Sky Temple? From the time that Ganon wakes up and the time you wake up in the Sky Temple, how much time has passed there?
That's a great question. Yeah, who knows? That could be.
How long have they been? How long has Zelda and Link been gone? How long have they been searching for them?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. They never say, but you know that it's been some time. Definitely. Days, weeks, months, maybe.
Yeah.
Because it's right when they disappeared is when the upheaval happened, and they've been studying. They've got researchers studying the gloom that came from it. So I mean, the logistics behind putting together that kind of stuff and getting people spread to all ends of the world.
Don't get me started with logistics. I am a logistics master. If anybody wants to know how to do logistics wrong, just let me know. I'll help you out. So, I just need to get out of my own way and start playing the game.
Yeah.
Because there was just mechanics I didn't like about the first game that they brought back to this game that it's like, oh, well, this just feels too much like the first game.
Oh, okay.
The weapons mechanic, the weapons decaying.
Right.
I'm just frustrated that if I swing my weapon at a rock if I have the wrong weapon equipped and I swing it at a rock, it hits it once and just explodes, and that was my best weapon. And I'm like,
yeah. And I think though, like you said, the decay, they didn't have decay. It was just wear. I think weapons wear down faster in this game.
Well, I guess
because of the decay.
All of the weapons in the world, all like the human weapons in the world, have all been decayed. Like you get your ruined traveler sword, all like the metal has decayed. So now like weapons that were great in the first game are like low level weapons in this game. But I've also heard that most like all weapons, like I guess you don't start finding like good weapons till later in the game that are like not decayed. Or
Do you think you could drop a sword on the ground and then use your time reversal and make it new again?
No.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
But I think they did the decay mechanic. Like they made them all decay, so that it almost forces you to use the fuse mechanic to make weapons better. Because I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how much you have played around with the fuse.
I haven't.
I have. I'll fuse anything to anything. I don't really care. I've ruined a couple weapons by fusing the wrong thing. Some items will 100% change what the weapon looks like. They will actually fuse and make a brand new weapon, where others will just tack it onto the end and make it look stupid. And you don't really, it's like trial and error. You just gotta, like I had a bokoblin horn. It was like one of the leader horns. That I'm like, oh, this is gonna make this because sometimes with like the wooden clubs and the sticks, certain monster parts will like completely overtake it, and you just see the handle, and it makes it a brand new weapon, and it actually adds durability to it. Whereas other things, it just puts it up on top and just looks goofy. Like, this is going to make this thing look awesome. Nope, made it look goofy. I told you about the explosive barrels. That was a bad idea. Don't do that.
Yeah. For the people out there, don't fuse explosive barrels to swords or shields.
Yeah. Fuse swords to shields. And fuse torches to shields. Because if you want a torch to light up a dark area, but you don't want to lose a weapon in your hand, or you don't want to lose a weapon slot, just fuse a torch to an unfused shield, and just walk by a fire, and it'll light it. Problem is, if you put it all away, it'll put the fire out, but all you have to do is just relight it.
Nice.
Have you?
I've got to play around with that. I've got to.
It's my favorite new mechanic. Like it's honestly what's gonna make me play this game even more once I get more into the story. I need to go down into the gloom. I need to unlock the caverns, because I think that's where I might have all my fun.
Yeah, that just seems so scary, though. The gloom on the surface is terrible as it is. Like, I can't even imagine when you're inside of it.
From what I understand is the gloom doesn't actually go, like, you just see it on the surface. Because, did you almost push that one guy off the ledge? In that one opening? He made it sound like the gloom was, like, all the way down. But from what I understand, I watched a video of a YouTuber that jumped down with his paraglider, and when you get to the surface, it's almost, when you get down to the actual bottom, there's no gloom down there.
Oh. It's just caves?
Yeah, it's just, or there might be gloom, but where he landed, it's not like he just immediately started dying of gloom.
Okay.
And everywhere there's a shrine, there's what's called like a light root or whatever they call it, directly underneath where the shrine is. And I guess if you activate that light root, it lights up the area, and you get a fast travel point there.
Fancy.
And I get So I guess if you find a light root in the caves, put a marker directly above it on the surface, you found you a shrine. So if you go, and I guess there's like 156 shrines,
Ooh.
I think. So if you find all the light roots, because the cave underneath expands the whole map. We get 2 maps. Plus Sky Islands.
Plus the sky, yeah, the little bitty
game
ones
is
in
so
the
huge.
sky.
That's why I haven't started playing it, because it's just so daunting. It's like, really? Do I really want to jump into this?
Just do what I do and just
Bumble
dabble
around like
little bits at a dabble little bits at a time.
Yeah. You know how I like my dabbling.
Yeah. You know I like dabbling.
So. Whoa.
What is that?
That was I have the live stream up, but I was just making sure we had audio in the live stream.
Oh.
So I turned my
Okay.
phone up to verify that we were actually making sounds.
I'm glad you checked that
30 minutes
30
into the
minutes
stream.
into yeah. Like, oh, by the way, can we even be heard right now?
We are professionals. Speaking of being a professional, what do you think about that movie? Oh, hold on. Let me. Hold on.
Retro movie review.
Professionals.
Nice.
Did I mention that we're professionals?
That was the most professional thing you've done all day.
Got it. Hey, what'd you think of the box set I gave you?
Oh, I liked it, and I was surprised. When you were talking about it, I thought it was only going to have 6 movies. I didn't realize it was 6 DVDs with 3 to 4 movies each.
Yeah, that's like 30 movies.
Yeah, but it's nice not having to buffer or dig around looking for. I like it.
Did you have to do the menu thing to turn off the subtitles, or did you just run subtitles?
I did it just because you told me to. I didn't even try it without doing that.
I mean, if you don't mind subtitles.
Yeah, the one thing I don't like about these movies, though, typically, are the subtitles are usually very different than
it's a different
the actual.
Translation.
Yeah, exactly. And so my brain freaks out.
Because it's the English subtitles of the Japanese translation. So it's not a one-to-one to the English translation, which was probably translated a little different to make the cadence of the movie make sense.
Right.
So, yeah, no, I've noticed that too.
Yeah.
Howls Moving Castle. This might be one of my favorites. What do you think?
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. I did. I thought it was interesting watching. No, it didn't confuse me any. It was interesting that once again you see I guess Japanese witches all can like turn into ravens and fly with. I guess that's just a thing because it looked just like that Unababa when he would.
Oh, you talking
both
about
of them?
Hal turning into a bird?
Yeah. Yeah, like it was those thick wings. Kind of it looked like that thing that Togepi eventually evolves into.
Oh yeah, Togetic.
It has. It has that shape.
Yeah. Yeah, I will admit that this one is the whole magic side of it's a little weird, and the story is kind of if I had to critique this movie in any way, it would be just the lack of storytelling, the lack of filling in gaps of stuff. There's a lot going on in this story that they just don't explain. Like
what do you mean?
Like the war. The war isn't well explained.
Right.
Just How's Howl's past isn't explained hardly at all. Um, I read the book. I've read the book for this.
And does the book go into all that?
A little bit more than the movie. So
Okay.
in the book, Sophie has two sisters, and she's the oldest sister. And I think her mom, I think that's her stepmom. Her father has passed away.
Okay.
And she has the hat shop instead of her mom because I think that's her stepmom. I might be wrong about that, but that's kind of how I'm remembering it. Her two sisters hated their lives, so they were like they weren't twins, but they looked identical to each other. They actually trade lives. So and they actually changed names, and it's an interesting, weird part of the book. But
that is weird. That's a pretty big deal, and that's a big change.
She only has one sister. They only mention one sister in this. In the book, they actually explain where Hal comes from, like his origin. He's actually from our universe. He's from Welsh, England.
Oh.
And in the book, he had one of the dials in the castle takes him back to his home, and when he's like in the castle, he's wearing a rugby jersey around the castle, and so people that see him in it, they're like, we don't know what that is. I like this movie so much because this is like one of my favorite. It's set probably in one of my favorite eras of human history.
What era is that? It's not even a real era.
Well, it's like an alternate era, but it's almost like it's set in that industrial revolution, that kind of steampunk era, like.
Yeah, it is very steampunky.
I would say it's in the same era as Around the World in 80 Days. That time frame of human history where inventions were just running rampant and nothing ever worked.
Right.
And
but the difference is they had jets and tanks.
They did.
So that's where I'm like,
I think that there was some creative liberties in the storytelling and the world building of that, but you could still tell it was in that turn of that industrial revolution,
right,
kind of era.
Yeah. That walking castle. I don't know why. I'm trying to remember why it's reminding me of Chrono Trigger. There's something about it. It reminded me of Chrono Trigger, that castle walking, and so I don't know if they had something like that in Chrono Trigger, but I saw it. I'm like, hey, that's bringing back faint memories of something.
I'm with you. I don't know why it is, but I think it was the kind of the mouth and the face. I think there was something in Chrono Trigger that had that face on it. Like
I think you're right. I think that's what it is.
One of the mech monsters that you fight or something has that kind of.
I think you had a robot character as one of your playables. I think,
maybe.
And it had a face similar to that. That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call.
They need to bring that game back.
Remastered. That would be an easy one to port to the Switch.
God, I want that game so bad. All right, so let's move on to Metacritic.
All right.
This is a must-see stamp. Metacritic must-see. 40 critics out of 100.
So it's a must-see, so that means they gave it an 81.
You were close. 82. So, 527 users out of 10.
I think they're going to be really close. I'm going to say 8.4.
Not as close. 8.8.
Oh, better. Okay.
Yeah. Just, like I said, there's not much I could critique about this movie. Like, even, I think I said last week that this one the English translation was done by Disney. And
Okay. The voicing,
when they
what we
translated
got.
Disney actually, I want to say, I don't really know the whole logistics behind it, but I know all of the when they did all the voice recordings for the translation, that was kind of done by Disney. I think Disney did the casting for it. So did you recognize the voice of Howl?
No,
Christian
but
Bale?
I did. Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Interesting. I think I recognize the voice of the Flame.
Calcifer?
That voice sounded familiar to me.
That's Billy Crystal.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Probably my favorite character in the whole movie. I love Calcifer.
Yeah, this one was usually we get that one interesting character. This one had a few interesting characters. Calcifer, Turnip Head.
Turnip Head's cool.
Yeah. It had a few of them.
Calcifer, my wife actually her purse that she carries is a Calcifer bag that says "May your bacon burn." My wife uses that as an insult curse all the time to people.
That's funny.
One of those, if you know, you know.
Right.
So, Metacritic, the critics, we had 34 positive, 5 mixed, 1 negative. I really need to read this 1 negative. I gotta know. Users had 484 positive, 27 mixed, 16 negative. See here. The Charlotte Observer gave it 100.
Okay.
A picture from an old man working at the top of his game. Dang
Okay.
right. Dang right. Let's get down here. Oof. That has to be the 1 negative. But let's see if we can find. I love reading these guys because they get confusing. The Christian Science Monitor gave it 100. You run across animation this ingenious about as often as a moving castle comes your way. Thank you, Monitor. I really appreciate your insight. Really helped us out here. See here, I'm looking for your Chronicle. They've been kind of hit and miss lately. Ah, there
They have been.
The Austin Chronicle gave it a 67. How dare you.
Gross. Gross. I'm gonna make a couple phone calls.
It says the voice acting from new Batman Bale to the almost unrecognizable Back-Ill is fine. Even Crystal reigns in his usual, I don't even know, borscht belt bravado, if a little plain.
Okay.
What?
Blech.
Just gonna
Word vomit.
They're gonna give it a 67 and complain about the English voice acting.
Yeah, that's weird.
Dallas Observer gave it a 60. Miyazaki's movies are as stunning as they are confounding. Tell me how you truly feel. Ooh. I could see that a little bit. The Washington Post gave it a 30. Miyazaki, like an evil sorcerer, has plucked the heart out of Jones's story and left it there to die.
Golly.
He did leave a lot out of the story. That we talked about that earlier. He did leave a lot out, and
But that movie was pretty long.
But there was just like if there was like 1 or 2 small things that he would have added in the story, it would have they were like almost like story enhancers and story explainers that would have just sent the movie in a different direction. Better direction. Would have just The Washington Post gave it a 50. The movie made almost no sense whatever to me. Literally could not follow it, even as I was dazzled by it. That's like
That's interesting.
all of the negative is just how confusing the story is. I told you the story is a little bit confusing.
Right, I guess. I didn't really find any of it super confusing, but maybe I just wasn't looking into it.
It was well written. I just think that the plot was just like, what are we doing here? Aside from her trying to save him by trying to save her and trying to not get caught.
Right.
And then they falling in love, and she then has to, instead of just saving him from Sullivan or Solomon or whatever her name is,
Solomon.
she now realizes that she needs to save him from himself.
Maybe she was doing it just for that sake, because once they got it figured out, then she put it into the wars. She's like, all right, it's like she instigated the wars just for that purpose of getting him to stop being selfish.
The war was started because of Turnip Head. Did you not catch
Turnip,
that?
Yeah, because he's the one that went missing.
He was the missing prince, and his father was convinced that the Solomon's king had had kidnapped the son, and they were attacking each other. But I think Solomon was also attacking people, trying to capture Howl, because she's not a good person. Because he's a rogue. The whole movie, he's a rogue wizard, and who knows? He's fighting Solomon's henchmen the whole movie, while the kingdoms are both fighting. And then she gives Turnip Head a kiss at the end. He turns back into the prince, but still has magic at the end because you see him float away on that stick, which was weird.
That was weird.
Okay.
I just wonder if the stick was magical.
That's just another one of those not explained. Good luck figuring that one out. And I guess just the war ends because he goes back home and tells his dad, "Hey, but who put the spell on him?" Nobody knows.
Just one of the. If he was wandering around, what do they call it? The waste.
What
they said there were just tons of witches and sorcerers there, so it could have been.
Was it the Witch of the Waste?
Who knows?
Who put us? Who turned him into a turnip head? You can tell pretty quick that Sophie's curse was a self-imposed curse, even though there was a small curse put on her by the Witch of the Waste.
Right.
Which I kind of harkened back with the wife back to Spirited Away when the baby and the bird got turned into a mouse and a fly.
Uh-huh.
And when Sin asked if they could get turned back, and the granny is like, "Oh, they could have turned back hours ago, days ago. They just choose not to." Kind of Sophie kind of was in that. She could have, and I'm sure you noticed her, she would turn and she'd look young.
Yeah.
And then there was other times where her body she wouldn't be hunched over. She'd stand up straight, her body would go back young, but she's kind of looked middle-aged in the face. Her appearance was, then when she was sleeping, she looked like what she should look like. And then it's kind of hard to tell what people could see of her, because other people, she would look young that had only seen her as old, and they would have no reaction to it. It's what's going on? I remember the first time I watched it going I don't know what's happening here. Is she old? Is she not? And there's other times Howl's on the screen and he looks like a child. But he was a child.
He was a child. Yeah.
Speaking of children,
And sometimes he was a bird.
yeah, Common Sense Media.
Oh yeah.
So this is my last review. I
Okay.
think we had this individual a while back,
Okay.
Cynthia Fauch,
Dr. Fauci?
Fuchs.
Ooh, interesting.
That almost got
Maybe,
dirty.
maybe not. Yeah, because I thought we would have made some comment about messing that name up and getting canceled.
You could totally pronounce it that way, and we'd lose our clean rating. Cynthia gave it 8+, 4 stars.
Okay.
I would have expected a 5, but charming Miyazaki fairy tale with surreal villains. Let's get down here. Is it any good? She gave it a 4-star. 36 parents gave it a 5-star. 90 kids say 5-star.
Okay.
All right. Oh, did you recognize the voice of Markle at all? Of course you wouldn't.
I don't think so.
That was Josh Hutcherson. Did you ever watch Hunger Games?
Yeah.
He played Peter. That's a Peter. Was that his name? Peter?
PETA?
PETA. Yeah, Pita Bread. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Hated that. I don't like him as an actor because he played that role.
That's fair.
I read the books, and I hated that character so much. Buckle up, Buttercup. This is gonna get interesting. All right, educational value.
Educational value, not present.
I'll shut you down right there. It's not present, not clickable. Why even have it as a category? It's the first category. You can't even. It's like, no, there is none. Why even mention it? This website confuses me sometimes. Positive messages.
This is a tough one. I would 2.
Well, she says a lot, which means a 4.
Ooh, okay.
Strong anti-war message running throughout. Could have deleted that.
Okay. Compassion
wins over cruelty and selfishness. Being old isn't interpreted as a negative, but instead a state where you are wiser, more peaceful. Beauty is initially coveted, but ultimately becomes irrelevant. I don't know. Hal put a lot of stake in his beauty, even up to the end, okay?
Yeah.
Positive role models.
Once again, I'd probably go with the 2.
Well, once again, she says a lot and gives it a 4.
Okay.
The central female character, Sophie, starts out timid but evolves over the course of the film into a strong, confident, loving person. The fact that she's been transformed into an old woman helps rather than hinders her character's growth. Central male character Howell is kind but struggles with selfishness, which he overcomes.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to check. Had to make sure we were still rolling. Ooh. Interesting. Diverse representations.
Oh, not present.
I could say some things that might get, if people were watching this, could get it riled up. But why does it feel like every time we do a Japanese movie, this category pops up?
Yeah.
On Common Sense Media. Like.
Yeah, I don't know. But in this one, I'm going to say not present because they were all white people.
Well, they said a lot. Gave it a 4.
What?
Audiences encounter the magical world through the eyes of Sophie, whose journey as a young woman proves provides the story with its emotional core. While temporarily transformed into an elderly woman, Sophie learns to speak her mind. Old age is depicted in a positive light, accompanied by acceptance and freedom. The film's pacifist stance and appreciation for the natural world, reoccurring themes in Japanese director Hayao Miyazaki's work, offer a non-Western perspective.
How is that diverse representation? The only diversity is she was young and then got old. So she represents young people and old people, and that's a 4-star diversity?
Yeah, nailed it.
Wow. I'm going to pronounce her name the way it should be pronounced if she keeps this up.
Ooh, shots fired. Speaking of violence and scariness. See what I do?
Well, man, if she went, she probably would say 7, but I would give it a 3, maybe a 4 if you're afraid of bombs.
She says some, and gave it a 3.
Okay.
Explosions and war scenes, no bodies. Some potentially scary blob men who chase after the main characters. Several moments of peril. One early scene where 2 soldiers intimidate and ogle the main female character.
Yeah, that opening scene, that scene, I started getting kind of sketched because they were being super creepy, and then Hal shows up, and he's kind of acting creepy himself, like flies her up and it's like, that's my girl, and then this is weird.
We're gonna tangent this for a minute because I've watched this movie like 20, 30 times. I've watched this movie a lot. And I learned something new about this movie that I did not even catch on to until the wife mentioned it while we were watching it. When he meets her in that alley and he says, "There you are, I've been looking for you." And then he, walks with her. Later on in the movie, when she's in the field in his memory, and she's falling through the world, and she yells at him,
find me in the future.
Find me in the future, and then she falls through. That's him finding her in the... she's like, "Oh, Sophie, let's move on." He recognizes her in the alley, and he's like, "This is... I've been looking for you."
Maybe. I thought he was just trying to get rid of the creeps.
Yes, but the way he says it, it's like, once you get further in the movie, it's one of those things you'd probably have to watch it again. It takes a couple watches to be like, oh, maybe that's what he means. Sex, romance, and nudity.
One, there's that scene where she's carrying him up, he's slimy, and the towel drops.
There's some crack in that.
Yeah.
She says very little. 1. Background chatter about romance. Don't know what that's about. Some romantic tension between central characters and discussions of being in love.
No booty crack.
No booty crack. She must have went for a food drink, snack drink during that scene.
Right.
Language.
Because they did. Remember that we saw the bathtub scene, and they said no nudity was present.
That's
in the Totoro one.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Language.
I don't remember any language. I'm gonna say not present.
Not really sure.
Not clear.
This is not not present, but clickable. So a few colorful insults. I don't.
Okay.
I know Calcifer kind of insults people quite a bit throughout the movie, but nothing colorful.
Yeah.
This one confused me. Products and purchases. I'm just gonna shut you off there. It says no, not present.
Okay.
These movies sell a lot of products. Didn't you tell me? But when we watched My Neighbor Totoro, that your daughter has some of the product, like some character, like
Yep.
clothing that has these characters
Yep.
on it, and she's never watched any of the movies?
Yeah.
If you go to Hot Topic, they have an entire section along one wall that's nothing but Hayao Miyazaki, Studio Ghibli apparel and memorabilia and stuff.
Yeah.
Like these movies sell a lot of products. I'd have given this at least a 3 or 4, just in what they sell.
If that's what they mean by this, or do they mean there's product placement in the movie?
But if it's consumerism, if me watching this movie makes me want to go out and buy a T-shirt with Cat Bus on it, wouldn't that be considered consumerism? Because the movie made me want to go buy a product reflective of that movie.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't have wanted to go buy that if I didn't never watch the movie.
That's fair.
More than likely. We're still on the investigation of what this means. But this is the third Ghibli movie that had not present in the products purchases. So,
Yeah.
drinking, drugs, and smoking.
Well, we know there was smoking,
Just lightly.
but I don't remember drinking or drugs. So I'm just going to say 1, even though the smoking scene was pretty heavy.
Very little. 1. A character smokes a cigar, which is called a pleasure.
Yeah. I wonder if there was something a little more than tobacco in there.
Oh, yeah.
She was like melting as she was smoking it.
Yeah, she was melting the whole movie. Parents need to know. Sorry. Cut that out, editor. Parents need to know that Howls Moving Castle, based on a book by Diana Wynne Jones, read it, is a gorgeous animated fantasy from famed Japanese director Hayao Miyazaki, which includes mildly scary images featuring blob men, wraith-like wizards, explosions, and background war scenes, and a couple of dark night scenes. Dark Batman? There's a bit of peril / tension when main characters seem to be in danger or possibly injured. The movie's primary imagery is magical and whimsical, including the rather charming titular castle. Titular? Gross. Which clatters and wheezes, walking on mechanical legs. Compassion emerges as one of the film's major themes. Watch it.
Okay.
It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah, it is good. It's gorgeous.
The artwork is very, very well done. There's actually 3 books in the series that she wrote. This is book 1. There's actually
Okay.
I've read all 3 of them, and they're interesting.
But this is the only one that's a movie?
Yeah, this is the only one that he made a movie of. So. So.
All right.
What do we think we want to do next week? Or in 2 weeks?
Great question. In 2 weeks. Yeah. I don't know. Are we sticking with the theme? Or are we mixing it up?
I was thinking about... I don't know, I was thinking about mixing it up. Is there anything that you've been thinking you've been wanting to watch?
Man, I thought I don't know. I don't know. Man, I don't know.
You know what?
I thought there were a few movies that we had talked about.
I feel like there was. I can't believe we haven't done this at all. I'm glad we have this movie list here. Because it's actually... Because I just searched a name and it's not popping up at all that we watched any of them. And since we just watched a movie with Christian Bale in it, it got me to think
Mm-hmm.
about Batman. I think we should watch the original Batman.
Okay. Yeah.
The
Michael Keaton.
Keaton Batman, yeah.
Yeah.
With the Joker. I can't remember.
Jack Nicholson.
Nicholson, yeah.
I'm down. Absolutely. It's been a long time. I haven't seen that since I was a child.
It's been a while.
Chow.
Why is it not pulling this movie up?
Yeah.
Search. 1989. This one's gonna have to be. We're gonna have to get creative with the watching of this one. I think I have it over there somewhere. Kim Basinger.
Really?
And I forget. Billy D. Williams is Harvey Dent in this movie. If you remember who he is.
I didn't know Harvey Dent was in the first Batman.
I didn't realize either, but it says that the guy from Star Wars plays Harvey Dent in the first movie.
I'm excited.
It's weird because if
see this.
If he's in the first movie, because Two-Face is in the third movie.
Right. But that was a different director.
Yeah,
that was basically like a different universe.
Well, because Batman changed. Yeah.
Didn't they? Yeah, they. So the first two were the same.
Yeah. I put them in the. I always kind of put them. That's right, because Tim Burton did the first two, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then, well, Schneider did the second one.
I don't know who did. You mean the third one?
You know what I'm saying. Returns is the second one. Forever was the third one. Joel Schumacher did the.
Oh, Schumacher.
He did the third one with Val Kilmer. That's with Riddler and Two-Face. That's my favorite one, by the way. Because that's Jim Carrey as the Riddler and Tommy Lee Jones as Harvey Dent, Two-Face.
Right. Yeah.
That's of all the Batman movies, favorite. But who did Batman and Robin, which was by far, in my opinion, the worst one? Oh, Schumacher did that one too. Yeah. Yeah, because Batman and Robin was nipple Batman.
I do remember Nipple Batman, yeah.
I think on that note, sir.
George Clooney's nipples.
That's going to be the name of this episode. That's the next week's episode. Hey, sir, I think we're done.
Okay.
I'm done. I'm not going to tempt this fate anymore. Somehow we got through this. I don't think I cut out at all for you, did I?
Nope. You were clear.
And I'm clearly out. Bye.